Welcome to Advanced Ball Striking Masterclass. John Erickson here, Advanced Ball Striking. One of the questions I get asked a lot is, why do you promote a flat golf swing and why not swing upright? Well, you can. You can do either. You can swing upright or you can swing flat. One of the common myths is that an upright swing is going to be more powerful because we're getting our hands up higher and better extension and we can have more power coming down. But what happens a lot of times is if we swing really upright, we don't really get the club working down behind us as easily to where we can then leverage the shaft with the rotation of our torso. We really want to get the club shaft working at right angles to our torso so that we can really leverage the club. If we get the hands up high, we can't really leverage the club. We can pull the arms down, but we can't really use the body to move the club in a way that's going to be most effective, efficient, and powerful. Another myth about upright swings is that by having more extension, we're going to have a bigger arc. But the reality of this situation is that we may have this big extended upright swing, but the distance between the ball and our hands is actually a shorter distance than if it's behind us. This is actually a greater distance from the ball to my hands. I'm increasing the range of motion if I have a flatter swing. I'm actually closer to the ball, although I may feel more powerful here because I want to just chop down with my arms like I'm swinging a hatchet, cutting a piece of wood. But in golf, we really want to increase our range of motion, and we can get more distance and more range of motion with the flatter swing if this is done correctly. We can also get the club shaft in a position where we can then use our body and get that club shaft working at right angles to our spine as we work through the stride. A little bit of a Mythbusters thing here, but we have a lot of advantages going flatter. Of course, flatter lie angles are going to give us a little more control of the rotation of the club face. Most people struggle with this. This is what's going to cause the ball to go left and right. So the more upright we are, the more the shaft is going to have to do with direction. If I rotate the shaft from my view here counterclockwise, that's going to really send the ball left or open to the right. But if I have the shaft more flatter, then the rotation of the shaft open tends to hit the ball higher and closed will hit the ball lower. So we might have a little more trouble with trajectory control, but not so much accuracy left and right. So I'd rather go out on the golf course and say, gee, I had trouble with my trajectories today. Although I hit every green, I didn't come in the right trajectory that I wanted. So this all kind of works together with flat lie angles and the kind of swing. A lot of people take upright swings and then kind of reroute, try and flatten. A lot of times we'll see the inside takeaway that then will go up, over, and then try and slot and come back down. Okay, so there's a lot of methods and things of doing this, but when we have a lot of plane shifting, we've got a lot of movement to get back down. That's one of the advantages I think that the flat swings have, or especially with Mo, with what he did when Mo just set up on a more of a single kind of plane. There's a little bit of shifting going on, but not as much, where he would just sort of set the arm and the shaft in a line here and then just take it back on kind of a more of a one plane kind of thing. To flatten the club shaft out at transition and get us back down onto our impact plane that we're going to be coming through from the right hip pocket to the left hip pocket. So that's all a little more accessible with a flatter swing if things are done correctly and we're slotting the club. So just a little food for thought, upright versus flat. But I think, if you look at a lot of the really great strikers, you see a little more flatter golf swings. Certainly Ben Hogan would fall into that category. Lee Trevino, one of the great strikers. George Knudson, one of the great strikers. And, Mo was certainly not upright. Mo was, fairly flat also, even though he started with the shaft in his arm in line. So Something to ponder. I'm going to lean towards the flatter lie angles and the flatter shaft and backswing and rotation, so there's not as much shifting going on. If we can take moving parts kind of out of the swing, then I think that's a good thing.